29th of June, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi. Chukas.
Good afternoon, Lou.
Good afternoon, Rabbi. How are you?
Mayor's not. Oops.
Pardon?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but something was cut off. You said something and I couldn't hear it.
Sorry?
I can hear you now, yes, but I couldn't hear you before.
I know, because I forgotten to turn my speaker on. It's okay. What's with Mayor? Oh,
Mayor is coming right now.
right. Okay, let's go. Parshas Chukas. Lou, you want to start off?
V'daber Hashem el Moshe ve'el Aharon lemor. Zos chukas haTorah asher tziva Hashem lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yikhu elecha farah aduma tamima asher ein ba mum asher lo Allah aleha ol.
Very good.
Hashem.
Okay,
Pardon?
Let's translate.
Hashem spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, "This is the statute of the Torah, which Hashem has commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and they shall take to you a perfectly red cow, which has no blemish, upon which a yoke has not come."
Two things. Hashem Bomum has no blemish, and there's no yoke has been upon this animal. It hasn't been used for any work.
Rashi says, Zos chukas haTorah, lefi sheha satan, because the principle of spiritual impediment, v'umos,
Hello.
the principle of spiritual impediment.
Okay.
That's
an original translation rather than just Satan.
Well, Satan is a word with heavy Christian overtones.
Yeah, I understand. But the means the one of the accuser, one who tries to.
That's the accuser.
What?
My English says the accuser.
Okay.
Let
me see how I translated it. 1 second. Sorry. Okay. I translate Satan anyway. Okay.
Anyway, let's see, where are we? Umos haolam, and the nations of the world, monin es Yisrael. So I say taunt Israel. My English says aggrieve Israel.
So I also translated it as taunt.
I probably got that from you then.
Could be.
Lomar, by saying ma ha mitzvah hazos. What is this commandment? Uma ta'am yesh ba. And what is the reason for it? Lefichach kasav ba. Therefore, it is written about it, chukah, statute, gezerah hi milfanai, a decree, it is a decree before me. Ein lecha reshus lahar hair achareha. You do not have permission to reflect upon it. I wrote in question, to question
it. The number of Mefarshim explain that why does it say Zos Chukas HaTorah? It doesn't say Zos Chukas HaPorah, because that's what we're discussing. Is that we have to understand that the reason behind all the mitzvahs, Ba'etzem, is also the real deep reason behind all the mitzvahs is beyond us. Hashem gives us ta'amim, reasons for the mitzvahs, but the word ta'am is like a taste. We have a taste for the mitzvah, meaning that gives us some sort of understanding. But that doesn't mean that's the be-all and end-all of the mitzvah.
So in that respect,
okay, so hereby, sorry?
I said in that respect, there's no difference between a chok and a mishpat.
It is. The difference is there some human conception of the, some human understanding of the mitzvah or not?
I can't agree with that. I actually heard a lecture one time. The rabbi spoke for an hour, and the subject of the lecture was paraduma.
Okay.
And he went into all the symbolisms and the deeper meanings behind it. Talked about Cain and Hevel, talked about shatnez, and it was very enlightening. And there were a lot of thoughtful things that he said. There's a lot to think about with this mitzvah.
Yeah, I didn't say that he can't. It's nothing to be.
You said you couldn't have any understanding of it. I think you can have a lot of understanding.
Yeah. Okay. The question is, when you say that the reason behind the mitzvah, there is no reason behind the mitzvah, what do you mean by that? To what line do you draw? Okay.
I would say.
In fact, by the way, the Gemara says not the entire mitzvah of the Korah Aduma is beyond us. There's one particular halacha which is like self-contradictory. Right. It says that the Korah Aduma is matare es hatmeim, purifies the impure, umatame es hatahirim, and it makes those who are pure impure.
Right, and Shlomo Melech said he couldn't understand that.
Right. So that's really what's beyond us. It doesn't mean that the other aspects of the mitzvah are not understandable.
Right.
Okay.
Same thing with mishpatim. There are aspects which we don't understand.
Yeah, but in general, mishpatim is something which is given to us in line with our human understanding.
A mishpat is something that we would have come up with on our own if Hashem hadn't given it to us. Whereas
Okay.
a chok is something that we never would have come up with on our own.
Could be. Okay. Let's continue.
Let's see. So, vayikchu alecha leolam hi nikreis al shemecha. It shall eternally be called by your name, i.e., ascribed to you. Para she'asa Moshe b'midbar, the cow that Moshe prepared in the wilderness.
Yeah, and everything, all subsequent Paras Adumos, even though in later generations, I don't know how many there were over the period of, it's about 2,000 years, we don't have one anymore. But all the red cows that have been over the generations were all basically connected with Moshe Rabbeinu's, because in order to start off, to even when after subsequently they would offer, or shall we not offer, but they would prepare a paraduma, it had to have some of the original ashes from Moshe Rabbeinu's paraduma to be added to it.
Right. I heard that we still do have some from Moshe Rabbeinu's. You're saying we don't?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I heard that.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
Carry on.
Aduma Tamima. Shetehei Tmima de Ad Mi Mus. That it should be perfect in redness. She'im Hayu Ba Shtei Se Aros Shechoros. That if there were in it even 2 black hairs, psula, it is disqualified.
Right. So Rashi is pointing out that the word tmimo doesn't mean without blemish, as it generally means most places, but it means perfectly red. Yeah. Why Dafka 2 black hairs? What about 1? So I have a note on this. Although perfect would suggest that even 1 non-red hair would make the cow invalid, however, it is a law given orally to Moshe at Mount Sinai. Moshe Sinai, that only when there are at least 2 hairs of a different color is it unsuitable. Rashi makes no distinction between if the 2 hairs are adjacent or far apart on the cow's body. This is the opinion of Yeshua ben Beseira. The other opinion is that it has 2 hairs. If the 2 hairs are in separate fields of vision, that does not invalidate the cow. It's actually a machlokes in the Mishnais in Mishnais Korah.
Interesting. It makes more sense to me that they would have to be together, because the whole basis of it is it has to be perfectly red.
But since the whole thing is based on Halacha Moshe Sinai,
if it was
No,
separate.
but misfara, even if you had l'chora, even one black hair should make it not perfectly red. But this, as I mentioned before, that the Gemara says that it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai that you have to have two. So once it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai, then there's not really a svara to say one way or another. Okay. Let's continue. Meir, Pasuk Gimel.
Okay, Gimel. It says, Unatatem ota el Elazar HaKohen v'hotzi ota el michutz lamachane v'shachat ota lefanav. Okay, so you'll give it to Elazar the Kohen, and he will take it outside of the camp, and someone will slaughter it in his presence.
Okay. So
Okay.
translated well, someone.
Let's see, V'shachat.
Doesn't say he shall. It really means he shall slaughter it in front of him.
No, but
It means Rashi's going to point that out.
he's going to
Someone
point
else.
Okay, because V'shachat can mean anyone, really. I mean, if
Right.
if Belazar is the sort of the subject opening the pasuk, then you think it might be him. Okay, anyway, it says Elazar, mitzvata biskan. So it's a commandment of the deputy.
Dafka, not the deputy Kohen Gadol, the deputy high priest, not the high priest himself.
Right. Okay. That's the skan. Okay. El michutz lamachaneh. To the outside of the camp. Chutz l'shalosh machanot. Outside the three camps.
Okay. Because the Gemara learns it out because it says 3 times.
Oh.
It says, no, he brings down the Sipsa Chachomim, says we learn how to Gezerah Shava, which is an analogy from Metzoira. Metzoira said, it also it's Chutz Lamachaneh, and that means outside 3 camps.
Oh, okay. Very good. And then V'shachat ota lefanav. And he will slaughter it before him. Let's see. Zar shochet, Belazar roeh. Okay, so a non-Kohen can slaughter it, but Elazar has to watch it.
Right.
Okay.
So, non-Kohen.
Right.
Well, the dafka has to be yeah. Okay, yeah. It's actually a machloikas in the Gemara whether it needs the shochat is a kohen or not. Rashi takes on like the opinion of Shmuel, which is actually the halacha that you do not need a kohen. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Pasuk Dalet, Lou.
Pasuk Dalet.
Yeah.
V'lakach Elazar HaKohen midama be'etzba'o v'hiza el nochach pnei ohel moed midama sheva pe'amim. So Elazar the Kohen shall take some of its blood with his forefinger and sprinkle some of its blood toward the front of the tent of meeting 7 times.
Right.
Rashi says, El nochach pnei ohel moed omeid b'mizracho shel Yerushalayim. He stands to the east of Yerushalayim, u'mis kavein, and he focuses v'ro'eh pischo shel heichal, and looks at the entrance of the sanctuary. Bish'as haza'as hadam, during the sprinkling of the blood.
Yeah, when he sprinkles. Right. So therefore he should aim, he aims to sprinkle the blood directly towards the entrance of the sanctuary.
But what does it mean he stands to the east of Yerushalayim?
Because he's actually stands on where's it called? On Har HaMishcha, the Mount of Olives, Har HaZeisim.
Oh, he's
And
not. Oh,
and therefore he's quite away. He's quite away from the Beis Hamikdash itself. But from where he is, he can see into the to the sanctuary. Because there was a Maisa, the Gemara in Yuma says there was a direct line from that you could see from the Mount of Olives, from Har HaZeisim, you could see directly into the sanctuary. The Gemara says how it was on different levels, because the Har HaBayis was on a lower level, and then the Ezras Noshim was on a higher level, and slowly the Azara was another higher level, and the sanctuary was also on a higher level. It went up. There was a difference of, if I'm not mistaken, 11 amas between the height, and maybe it's more. I'm trying to remember. There's a din of the Mishnah in Yuma. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Meir, Pasuk Hey. There's a couple of psukim with no Rashi, and we've got Pasuk Zion, there's Rashi. Okay, Pasuk Hey.
So, hey, it says Visharaf, no,
V'sarah.
Visaraf, et hapara, le'enav et ora, v'et bisara, v'et dama, v'al pirsha yisrof.
Yeah.
Okay, so he will burn the cow in front of his eyes.
Yeah, so there again, here we've got a similar thing as well, that someone else shall burn the Korah le'enov in front of Elazar.
Okay, so its hide, its flesh, and its blood.
Al Pirsha,
Pirsha.
with its how do you put it? Excrement.
Excrement. Oh, shall you burn? Shall he burn? Wow. Okay. Okay. But you said, let's see, that's hay. There was no Rashi on hay. Okay. So let's do Vav. V'lakacha kohen, eitz erez ve'ezov Ushni tolaat v'hishlich el toch sreifat hapara. Okay, so let's see. The Kohen. The Kohen takes cedar wood and hyssop, ushni, crimson, okay, wool,
Misolas, and not crimson, a scarlet thread.
scarlet thread, and he throws them towards the
Not just towards, El Toich Sreifas Hapara.
well, toke within, I guess,
Like into
okay, the burning of the cow. Okay, Zion. V'kibes bigadav hakohen v'rachatz b'saro b'mayim v'achar yavo el hamachaneh v'tamei hakohen ad haaretz. Okay, so the Kohen washes his clothes and washes his skin, his flesh,
flesh.
b'mayim, in water.
Bamayim, in the water.
Oh, in
ritual water.
Oh, okay. Okay. And after he will go to the camp, into the camp, the Tameh, and the Kohen will be Tameh until evening, will be impure till evening.
Right.
Okay, so it says El HaMachaneh, into the camp. L'Machaneh Shechina. Oh, into the camp of the Shekhinah.
So it means that he's allowed even into the most innermost camp.
Innermost, okay. She'ein tamei mishulach chutz l'shtei machanot. Okay, so one who is tamei, not who is impure, mishulach, is not sent out of the two camps. Okay, Elazav, except the Zav, Vakeri, Umitzorah, and one who has Mitzorah. Huh. Okay. The Tamea Kohen ad ha'arev. The Kohen will be impure till the evening. The Sarsehu, what's Sarsehu?
The Saseu V'Darshehu
Darshenu.
means, how should I say, let me see how I translated this. This is going back. Reorganize the order of the wording of the verse.
Oh, okay. So reorganize
And thus expound it.
and explain it. Okay. V'tamei ad ha'arev. And
First thing is it should be Tomei Kohen ad Arev.
Mm-hmm.
And then once he's till the evening, and once he's purified by the evening, then Yobo El HaMachaneh.
Ah.
You know, it's because
Says
it sounds as follows: the Kohen shall wash his clothing and bathe his skin in his flesh in water, and afterwards he may enter the camp. But the Kohen shall remain impure till the evening. This mashma, he can enter the camp even when he's impure. So Rashi says, no, that's not the case.
Ah.
So that's what Rashi's saying.
has to wait till evening.
Right.
Okay.
So Rashi, I've got a note here. It cannot be that he may enter the camp of the divine presence in a state of impurity. For even to eat truma, a person who has immersed himself must wait until evening. All the more to enter the camp of the divine presence. We must therefore reorganize the verse to understand the sequence of the procedure. And why was the verse written like this? Aderes Eliyahu, who's the Vilna Gaon, states that it teaches us that washing his clothes, like bathing his body, is a condition to entering the camp. Therefore, permission to enter the camp is written immediately after these two conditions.
Oh.
Even though he has to wait till the evening, but he must wash his clothing and bathe himself in ritual water in the mikveh before he becomes pure. It means those are conditions for him to become pure. Besides waiting till the evening. Okay.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, so we go finish Pasuk Zayin. I think we'll hold it here for today. Bez Hashem will pick up again tomorrow, Pasuk Ches.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will.
Be well.
Have a good week, Rabbi.
Be well.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. So much. You have a cup? I'll get a cup.
Okay.